there are so many issues.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about equal rights, and the first thing you say is, oh, then you should be able to pay 50-50 on the day. Feminism is diabolical, is witchcraft. That's not how God designed things.
When you bring up topics like that, it makes it look like the other issues that women are facing and the challenges that we're trying to fix and all, you make it seem less.
You guys should teach me what this thing means. Hi guys, welcome back to the Chidera Onuoha podcast. Once again, it's so lovely to have you guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. Thank you so much for the love, likes, and comments on our last episode, that vulnerable episode. I was so happy for all the feedback and everything I got from you guys. Thank you so much. As you guys can see, this episode is not just another episode. It's Women's Month, and I just thought, women deserve more than just one guest. We're two. If we had a bigger studio, it would have been five, but we're still coming up. So I said, let's really bring two powerhouses today to celebrate International Women's Month with this killer episode, To Be a Woman. You guys already know it's about to be a lot on conversation, because when we talk about women, we can never stop because it's about us, really. If you know what I mean. And you guys, we got the mic, got the brand new mic. I'm so proud. I'm so happy for us. And I get a shout. Thank you very much. So, without further ado, I'd love to introduce my two guests on this podcast. So let's start with the guest on my right. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Vita Yala. I'm a woman, as you can see. But yeah, I'm a woman. I'm a software engineer, filmmaker. Jack of all trades, doing everything. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but
I'll get to introduction.
Yeah.
And now, am I right? Please, can you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Balabatiri Saraunia. I am a public health practitioner. I am a child of God, and I am a woman.
Lovely.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Brownia beauty. Okay, don't worry, let me do the introduction.
Okay,
We are done with the
yeah.
introductions. So you guys, this episode is an episode that deserves to be had, because jokes apart, there's so much that comes with being a woman in today's world. And I thought to bring two power feminists on this episode, so I'm going to give you guys back to back. Me, I'm just a learner in this feminism world. I'm trying to. So I brought I brought people to, spice up the conversation, if that makes any sense. So we have Itain and we have Sarami on my podcast today. Itain is a software engineer, a filmmaker. Oh my god, this stuff, what people we doing is what people we doing is that each time I'm like, God, thank you for making this. So I know there's so much more that I can do in my life, so much more we can all do with our lives.
Yeah.
And she's a child of God, Ivy of the Most High, actually, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Then we have Sarania, my sweet girl. She's a public health practitioner. She runs a beautiful business. So when I was in 100 level, when I usually want to give to my friends, I usually go to her. You've forgotten all those times for urgent package. But basically, these are women doing great things, and that's why I brought two of them on the episode today. Empowered women that stand in doing things that they're meant to do. So yeah. Well, it's about to be a beautiful conversation, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear everything we have in stock. So first, let me try to have it. So let me go into my first question. Let me ask you guys. Be honest to yourself. So I know we're all celebrating women every day. And everything. If you are to come in another life, you used to be a woman. Be honest. Be honest.
1,000%. Like, I don't know. I don't think I can imagine my life like not being a woman. To be honest, like, and I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but I feel like there's so much beauty, like, and I don't know how to explain it to you, but I will definitely come back as a woman, like 110%, definitely.
Yeah. Mine is going to be a bit different, but I think for me to be like 90%, I would definitely want to come back as a woman. I just can't imagine coming back and not having like that sisterhood. It's just not going to be the same.
I feel like a large part of it for me is because I cannot actually imagine my life not being a woman. Like, how exactly can one be a man? Because if you're not a man, you're a woman. And I really truly do not know how that works. I feel like a large part of it, is that.
Yeah.
So, being a woman growing up, how was it like for you? I feel like there's so much in being a woman when you're younger as a girl and when you
Yeah.
actually become a woman.
Yeah.
So how is it like? How is the transition for you? Like, how can you say? Because I feel like for me, when I was a girl, what I stuff, I didn't even like being a girl when I was a girl because I'm from an Igbo home and there was this whole stereotypical thing where women are meant to be in the kitchen. Now you guys should not shout and say, "Femisi, calm down." There's just this Igbo thing that the mother says, "Oh, but you want meant to be in the kitchen." So I literally didn't like being a girl. I didn't even. What was even the benefit? Maybe they are, but I will remember. But I know that because all the labor, na me they do, na me they sweep, na me they you get. So I feel like right now, being a woman even comes with a little more benefits. Right now for me. So I just want to know how it's like in your lives. Being a woman back then and being a woman now. Do you want to go? I think you should go. Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely different. When I was younger, my days, I can't say when I was younger. But when I was much younger, because I'm still young. When I was much younger, I definitely saw womanhood in the views of like the way society has put it for younger me, right? So I grew up in a house filled with boys, men. I'm the only girl, and being a woman then just looked like, oh, the you just had to be pretty, the ladies in the kitchen, she's the one taking care of the house. Like, to me, from the lens of a child, like that was what womanhood looked like. Maybe just putting yourself together, you're taking care of the house. That was basically all I could see. I didn't really see that there was so much more
So,
in the
yeah,
structure of womanhood. Yeah. But I think for me, now that I'm older, I can see that it's so much more different. I Obviously, as you get older, you learn, you see things.
We need to see what women actually do.
Yes,
Apart
yeah.
from just being that caretaker.
And I realized that there's so much more to being a woman than just being that pretty face or being what society expects you to be. I think, let me not go too far. But definitely, there's definitely I said definitely yes. But there's definitely a difference from what I viewed when I was younger and what I see now as I'm much older.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I think for me, like growing up as a child, how do I explain this? Like, I think I was fortunate enough to grow up in a house where like a lot of those gender roles were not so defined. So like we weren't cooking because we were girls, or we're not cleaning because we were girls, right? It was just kind of like a shared responsibility. So for the most part, right, I didn't really see like a large difference between like me and my brother. It was just like we're children of like the same parents.
Yeah.
But then when I got into secondary school, I think that is when like the whole like femininity thing started like playing in my mind. Like, and I went to a school where etiquette and all of these things, they were so emphasized. Like, you have to they taught us how to walk, how to talk, how to eat. It's all like was like a performance. And I think that's what something that like you guys also like were echoing, like, oh, this is something that you have to perform. The caretaker role, like you have to cook and clean, you have to perform like certain kind of like behaviors, and like you have to look a certain way. I feel like it was in secondary school that those ideas started like forming in my life.
All of you were all people.
Yeah. And so it was kind of also frustrating because I felt like I was not like that like particular image, like walk a certain way, So, but I think now the difference is that I've kind of like come to understand that it's not like being a woman is not something that you perform, it's something that you are. You get like please. It's just something that you are, like is a way of being. It's not like doing. And I think like that is just what is like in my mind right now.
I feel that's such a spot on point. Like, women, it's just being, just who you are, not really about, because that's the probably going to the whole feminism thing. Because I feel like largely what feminism talks about is equal rights for men and women. So
Right.
we're really looking a lot, about the doing aspect, and how we want, women to do certain things that they are not meant to. But we're going to go into that later. So I love your point of views. You guys are deep thinkers, like see what Saru said. Sarah was like, she just thought that it was a certain role women are meant to take, but now she knows that there's so much more in being a woman, and then I just feel like me, I don't know. You guys should think. I just what I know is that when I was young, I did not really like it because there was a lot of work, and now I feel like there are like some small privileges, attached to it and everything. But that's all beautiful. That's all good. I feel like being a woman is really, really dynamic, and I love the fact that we are evolving in what we think, what it means to be a woman. I really love the concept of International Women's Day. I love the concept of reminding ourselves of who we are because women go through a lot. I don't know if it's the evil, even that thing, that fruit that she ate, but I just feel like the weight are so much on women, from menstrual pain to childbirth to reproductive issues.
Yeah.
Like I cannot even begin to talk about it because I work in the medical setting. You already know, and I understand. Women are going through so much reproductive issues, and sometimes these are still the same women who have families who have to try and show up for their husband. They
Yeah.
have to try and show up for their kids. They have to try and be something in this world, chase their dreams, and it just feels like there's so much. Gosh, women don't know how amazing they are because for you, like we're still young now, nobody's
Yeah.
married anymore. But like imagine growing up,
Mhm.
having children, still having to be a present mom, a present wife, and still chase your dreams. If you're a woman, you really need to give yourself kudos because the
Yeah.
art alone is
Yes,
beauty.
you
Like
do.
it's so much.
Mhm.
It's so much. And yeah, so just happy International Women's Day again to all my
Yay.
queens.
Yeah.
We're getting everything, hopefully. So Sarah, what inspired your business? Like when you wanted to start your business, did it
Mhm.
come from that angle or that point of wanting to knowing that there's so much you can be as a woman? I don't know, people just have different ways they do things,
Yeah.
or did it come from like what stirred that passion basically?
I mean, okay, it came from a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
So I think when I started was during COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all indoors, and one thing was I was definitely looking for something to do to make money.
Yeah.
Right. And when okay, I wasn't very let me put it like this. I wasn't very girly when I was younger. Like I said, I grew up in a house full of boys, so I was a bit of a tomboy. But if there was one thing that I liked was playing with glosses,
Yeah.
right? And I realized that I think no matter how young or how old, I think at one point every lady would like to have a lip gloss,
Yeah.
right? And I just it was just like a passion for me.
Yeah.
And then I did research on it, and my mom, my best friend, she invested in me, and I started making the glosses, and I really enjoyed doing it. So it was just the motivation, like this is something that. And when I started that business, when I tell you that the community of ladies, of women around me that helped me and pushed me,
Yeah.
that was something, that was the motivation. It was just supposed to be like this little thing to keep me busy during and after COVID. It wasn't supposed to be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Right. But the community I had, community of women, the support I had, that was definitely like a motivation for me.
For you.
That yeah. So that was my inspiration and motivation.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's
So well done. That's lovely. But have you, because it's a gloss business.
Yeah.
There are sometimes you do business or you just do things in life that just make you, and certain things happen and you just feel like it's because there's a woman problem. I don't know, from production to anything. Have you ever had that, segregation or felt somehow that this happened because, I'm a woman, if you get what I
Okay.
mean?
I mean,
Or has it just been prim, proper, beautiful?
obviously. It has not. Like if you're talking about like limitations in the business, I'm trying to look for one good example that doesn't sound so bad.
I'm sure.
But I feel like you have to circle back on that for me. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question based
Yes.
on that? When you tell people about your business, right,
Mhm.
especially non-females, men, do they treat it with the like seriousness that you think like
Yeah.
it deserves?
So when I started, obviously, no. My brothers at that time did not even take me seriously, right? It was like makeup. That whole what is in lip gloss? Like, it's not to just
Mm.
put oil on your lips. Like, how is that even a business, right? And there was, I won't say that they made fun of me, but I would definitely say that a lot of male figures in my life did not really take me seriously, right? And even when I tried to cater like, oh, lip balm, because I also made lip balms, so it's like lip care products and some other things, right? I tried to cater lip balms to some of the guys, right? And they still didn't take me
Serious.
seriously. It's like, oh, I'm a guy, I cannot be using this. But like I said, the support, when I tell you, when I say this, I'm not just saying, like, I really had such support from the women around me, like the
Yeah.
motivation, the support, even the ladies that were not big
Less
fans,
supportive women.
yeah, they were not big fans of lip
Makeup.
glosses, right? They're just like, oh, let me just buy the, okay, I don't use lip gloss, let me buy lip balm. Like, it was just, there was that support. And
Yeah.
eventually, because I didn't give up and I kept pushing, like, eventually I started having guys patronizing my
Yeah.
business. They would buy the lip scrub and the lip balm, and obviously as time went on,
Maybe
things
they
got.
saw that tenacity, they saw as you
Mm-hmm.
kept going, and then they, because people honestly take you seriously when you take yourself
So
seriously.
seriously,
Yeah.
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 So I think that's a whole mix and
Yeah.
everything of that. So quick question, before we go into imitate our journey, if you were to, if you were to, a character in the Bible, a woman in the Bible, if you were to pick which you look up to or which describes your life right now, who would it be?
My life right now.
I just like,
Okay.
there's sometimes you just mirror someone, in your life. Not,
Mhm.
who could that be? Who could that be? Okay, I want to go first. And you want to go first?
I'm really thinking. I mean, definitely, like you can pick and choose what it is
Yeah.
that you
Mhm.
want. I would say Esther, and
Same.
for for a particular reason, basically what Mordecai tells Esther, like,
Yeah.
who knows if you're put in this
This
position
for
for this,
example.
like for a time like this, right? I feel like in my life and in some things that I'm trying to do, I feel like that statement keeps coming back. Like, okay, what if I'm here for, like, for other people? What if I'm here
Mhm.
For
for
a
a
time.
specific, for a
Time
time
like
like
this.
this,
Mhm.
basically? So in that regard, like, I relate to
So
Esther.
Mhm.
um I would say I'll just pick that particular that
yeah,
particular
I
thing.
get you.
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah, definitely Esther. That's not Esther.
you're busy now.
My reason, okay. I think for me it's just the fact that she had the opportunity to not do anything, right? She could have closed her eyes. I mean, let's be honest, how many people really care about their people,
Yeah.
right? She could have closed her eyes and removed her face from the issues of her people and just went on living her life as a queen. But that tenacity to just keep to do it even at
Mm.
when her life was at risk and all, she's the motivation.
Yeah.
She's the moment.
She's the moment.
She's the moment.
She's what we look forward to. That's nice. So I be on to your journey as a filmmaker. Gosh, gosh. Any limitations so far in trying to pursue this? Because I understand that it's something that you picked up again
Yeah.
from, because I know
Yeah.
it was a thing of that you
Yeah,
did
before.
before. So any limitations now, as at being a woman, where people feel like, there's some constraint just because you're a woman.
Okay, I think, like you said, right, it's something that I picked up again, right? So far, I've not really had any experience where it felt like, oh, there is a limitation because I'm a woman. I think so far, I've been fortunate to be around people that are, welcoming and that see you more than just like a gender. They see you as someone that, okay, has potential, and they're willing to pour into you. But I will say that the experiences that I've had working with women
Mhm.
Yeah.
on set, like, there is this, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but like,
Yeah.
there's just this kind of like, there's a community even before we speak. Like, it feels like there are people that are looking out
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
already. Like, they are, want to work together. I saw this post, like, someone I started following recently, and it was just a post of her and the women on set, like, working. I was like, oh my god, this is like so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I know that some people do have experiences where, like, it's like a whole thing, that being discriminated, like, with gender and everything. But so far, my experience has not been that, and I've actually seen like community of
Yeah.
women, like,
People.
coming together and wanting to,
Yeah.
like, lift other women up. Yeah, I think that's been my experience so
Yeah.
far.
Good stories, though.
Yeah.
Good stories, really. So now that we're talking about what you guys do, who Is there a woman you look up to? Any woman in particular you want to give a shout out to because you look up to her in some sort of way? Maybe not mirror anyone.
I'm laughing because we had this conversation
Okay. I mean, not to sound cliche, but my mother.
Oh,
Yes, definitely. And obviously, there's still some people out there that I was telling her about Malala and what was the name of the other lady?
Alison.
Alison.
Something.
Yeah, those are two powerful women that I personally look up to.
Lala.
Strength, endurance,
Yes.
but like after even no matter it's like with all that they had been through,
Yeah.
it's you to want to keep going and to
Mm.
fight for other women
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. At the risk of sounding like a broken record,
and
I would say my mom as well,
Mhm.
because like I saw a lot of tenacity in like the way she pursued her career. And yeah, there are some people that felt like, oh, you're a mother, you know how people usually talk.
Yeah.
But like she had a lot of tenacity, like pursuing her career. She was a doctor,
Mhm.
right? She went for masters and then PhD, and like she was
Mhm.
always just
Pushing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she was a mother like of four as well. So I feel like that tenacity, like
Yeah.
she literally had it, like
Mhm.
had it all, like career, family,
Yeah.
and yeah. And also I was saying my auntie, right? One of my aunties, because she recently went through something where she had to kind of not like start again, but like
Yeah.
redefine herself in
Yeah.
new ways.
Mm.
And like I've seen kind of her passion pursuing like her business that she's trying to do now. She went back to school for like a particular course, and like she's just been pushing
Yeah.
through.
Listen,
So things like that actually just inspire me. And then like I have so many like wonderful women around me.
yeah.
I don't know if I can say like a specific like public figure. I mean, I see many women that inspire me, and I like pick and choose from their
Yeah.
life. But I don't know. Oh, I'm actually the lady. I can't remember her name now. Which sound like such a fake. She won best cinematography at the Oscars recently. And she's the first woman that has won that award in 98 years.
Wow.
And I was just like, that's crazy. So yeah, that's my answer. That's my
Yeah.
response.
That's nice. I feel like for the future of like our future, it's very important for us to have examples. Like I like how
Yeah.
you guys have examples who to refer to, because one thing that will kill girls coming up is when they don't have examples to look up to.
Yeah.
So I love it as we're chasing tenacious women, beautiful, all that great stuff, really, really. Now let's get into the topic of today, feminism. I don't know, you guys should teach me what this thing means. Like, I was having a conversation with the doctor in my hospital the other day, and his anger with feminism is that we do not want to pick a side. What do I mean? Usually, what feminism means is equal rights for men and women, right?
Yeah.
Saying that women want the same rights, the same things men do. Take, for example, we're fighting back then. We want women to go to school. We don't want our daughters to be at home. We want them to go to school, get an education, and pursue a dream. But now people are now bringing it to the home front, where your husband says 50-50. Since you want equal rights, the same amount I'm bringing, that's the same amount I want you to bring. I mean, is that wrong? Because that's what I understand it to be. Because the doctor was like, yes, he accepts, no problem, feminism, but you also need to be willing to take it all round, not just on the side that seems glamoring, if that makes any sense. So he brought the home front, how people, somehow the man is the head of the home, that's what everyone says, and the woman is meant to like assist him and care for the children, all that. And some homes they feel like you don't necessarily need to do 50-50. Some men take care of their wives and some women help if they want to. Do you get? But now he's like, he feels like the whole thing with women feminism, they don't want to pick a side. They feel like all round, even if you go out on a date with a guy, you know how sometimes when a guy takes you out, he's the one that pays the bills. They feel like all that should stop. So you guys help me. Help me. What are your views basically on this?
Should I go first?
Okay.
Okay, I kind of wait. I find it kind of annoying when people reduce the conversation of feminism to who pays on a date, or like just dating relations. Like feminism is so much more than that. You mentioned like women not being able to go to school in the past, or own property, or like vote. There were so many fundamental rights that were kept away from women. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but right now women vote, women go to school. But like we're so far from a society that values like women the same way
They
they
value
value
men.
men.
Yes.
And there are still so many societies in the world today where like womanhood is like suppressed.
Yeah.
Um literally I can't remember the name of the country right now. It's a Middle Eastern country. And women are not allowed to go out on their own. They're not
Yeah.
allowed to dance
Mhm.
in public
Even in this now, even right
in
now.
2026.
Yes, in 2026.
Right? And it's just a crazy thing to think about, right? So there are so many deep issues, and then you go into topics like female like genital mutilation.
Mhm.
And in fact, I saw a video this morning. It was
That's a
a
really sensitive
Nigerian,
topic.
yeah, a Nigerian woman. Let me not even go into details of
Mhm.
like what she was talking about, and I was just like, there are so many issues.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about equal rights, and the first thing you say is, oh, then you should be able to pay 50-50 on the date. I feel like you don't really understand the full grasp of what feminism is about.
Yes.
In terms of dating relations, I honestly feel like it's left to the people that are in the relationship.
Thank you.
If
It's really as simple as that.
yeah, like everyone knows what works for them,
Yeah.
and look for who is on the
I
same
think
page
it's
with
really
you.
not that complicated. You want 50-50, look for a lady that wants to do 50-50.
Yeah, because there are women
There are
that,
women that, so it's like
you know,
they make it, when you bring up topics like that, it makes it look like the other issues that women are facing and the challenges that we're trying to fix and all, you make it seem less, or you make it look like, oh, it's on the same par, and it's not. There's so much more, that there's still so many issues that we're tackling till date. And when they say modern feminism, modern feminism is still simply feminism, but in modern time, facing modern issues that
yeah.
women face. Like, that's really what modern feminism is. And I feel like another issue is, how in I can
Yeah.
is another issue is, we have like in each in every, like say, in every group, in every structure, you will always have extremists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even in feminism, there are
Yeah,
extremists.
extremist. Thank you.
And I feel like majority of, will I say, men that always have, or not just say men, because even women too, majority of people that have something to say in the negative light of feminism are always looking towards the extremists, the extremists on feminism. They are the ones that they exhibit misandry,
Yeah.
and they hate men, da 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 da. In like, it's obviously there are extremists everywhere. We have Christian extremists, we have Muslim
Yeah, there's
extremists,
always
we
an
have,
extreme to
so
everything.
it's like, so for you to say that because of what this person is saying, then that whole structure is nonsense.
Mm.
It doesn't make any sense. So imagine okay, let me use Christians now. The Christian extremists, the ones that will say, oh, if you don't do this, you will go to hell. The ones that are that just spew a lot of hate and all, and that is obviously not the teaching of the Bible. That's not the teaching of Christ. Like that, they're not emulating Christ, but they will still come out and depict themselves as Christians. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are not Christians, but obviously they've diverted, and you get what I'm trying to say. So are you trying to say that that whole movement of Christianity is now nonsense because of a
Yeah.
couple of extremists? It still
Yeah.
moves the same way when it comes to feminism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the extremes in feminism?
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, like, before this question, right?
Mhm.
I agree with everything that you said, and I feel like even the I'm sorry if this is going to offend people,
Mhm.
but even the extremes in feminism, I feel like they are still not as harmful as the main issues that are trying to be
Yeah.
solved,
Yeah.
right? Like there are so many things that we turn a blind eye to because we're trying to fix like a
Yeah.
core issue,
Yeah.
and I feel like people only get annoyed, right? Okay, how do I say this? It's one thing to be generally vocal about issues and you're
Mhm.
always speaking up like about issues.
Yeah.
It's another thing to only speak up just to negate, and I feel like most of the conversation about extreme feminism, I'm not saying that they're not extremists, but
Mhm.
it's usually brought up in an attempt to negate
Negate
every
feminism.
other thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you're really passionate about feminism, then talk about it. Your voice should not only be heard when you want to talk about the extreme
Mhm.
part of it. That's just what I want to say. Examples of extreme feminism. I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question. I don't know.
I know there are some extremes. Well, I love everything you guys have said. I agree really with Inten when she says a lot of people try to negate it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I speak to some men, they're like, feminism is diabolical, is witchcraft. That's not how God designed things. And truth of the matter is when they speak about the extreme, they try to negate the whole thing
Yeah.
completely. Even if they try to say, hey, I feel like they're not against women, but they just genuinely want it. A lot of people want that olden days, like
Mm-hmm.
how life was in the olden days. But they don't know it though. But that's what they literally want. They feel like that's the best way to make anything work with the marriage. You know those days where let's not even talk about the extremes like how people are not going to school. Those days where you kneel down and give your husband food. Some men online 2026 they like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some are crazy. They like it. So most sometimes they're just trying to negate it. I love that. They just want to, eradicate it completely, but they don't know how to say it. I think some extremes are. I don't know if there's this. I don't know if I call her this influencer. So I used to really like her. She's my namesake. Maybe you have gotten the memo. My name is Chidera. So she's based in the UK. So I used to follow her first. I used to love her. She had a blog. She's all about women. So she had this movement that was all about it. Then I discovered that it was turned into another thing when she made a book, How to Beat Patriarchy. And then all she was talking about is how a woman can live without a man, how a woman can live without a man, even sexually. She was even teaching people BDSM. I know that. I hope you guys are 18 watching this thing. Teaching people BDSM, how like they can even be the dominating part. They don't need a man. Things that became really disturbing. And honestly, the whole point of it was just to like it was inspiring, fighting for women, talking about women. Then it now became too extreme. you know. So I understand that those are some of the extremes where you feel like you can live. There's this video that they were talking about. I don't know, it was trending one time on social media. And then in the video, what the woman was saying is that she wouldn't live with a man figure in the house. That when she adopts a child, she will get her friend and two of them as females will take care of the child. That's an extreme. She literally was saying it on the internet. She hates men, and sometimes those things could be due to trauma. I understand it's due to trauma, but I believe like